I'm not defensive about it.
Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the match reaction. Brentford 2, Chelsea 2. Smash up the like, subscribe if you're new around here, all of that good stuff. And I tell you what, guys, that don't feel any better when you sleep on it. A real kick in the bollocks in that game. We had it there. It was in our hands, and the game management was woeful, and we chucked it away right at the end from a long throw-in. What is going on with these long throw-ins? Are we playing Brentford or are we playing Stoke? Because that looked like Rory Delap throwing it back. Red and white kit. Big guys on the pitch, launching balls into the box. Could have easily been Stoke. Could have easily been Stoke. I hate Brentford. I can't stand them. Just as you think you're going to get a win at this place, one win at their ground since they came up, and they're doing up Stoke like we're back in 2005, 2006. Did I take a short trip to the Gtech, or did I somehow find myself at the Britannia Stadium in 15 minutes? Because that's what it felt like. But we didn't deal with it. We didn't deal with it. And you can say what you want about the game. You can say what you want about the rotation. I'm going to get into it. You can say what you want about a number of things. But ultimately, when you switch off defensively in two major moments, you can't expect to win football matches. And ultimately, at the end, we kind of got what we deserved, because a football game is 90 plus minutes. We switched off in two key moments and gave up 2 goals, which is why we didn't win that game. And people can say, oh, yeah, but we shouldn't have rotated at the start. We should just play our best team all the time. You cannot play your best team every single game. We knew there was going to be rotation in this game. I actually didn't really have that much of a problem with the rotation. The only one that I didn't get was leaving James and Gusto both on the bench and playing Wesley Fofana at right back when you've got 2 right backs available. I get it. James played twice for England. You're managing his minutes still. I understand that to a certain extent. But why they were both on the bench and you play Fofana at right back, who doesn't give you the same, who doesn't get up and down the pitch, who doesn't provide an overlap, who doesn't invert into the midfield, who doesn't do any of those things. That was a little bit of a confusion with me. Fully understand Jarell Hato coming in. Obviously, Caicedo, Enzo playing. Gittins was going to start. Garnacho was never going to be ready to start. Pedro Neto on the right. Esteval obviously ill. That was disappointing. Joao Pedro obviously plays. And then Buonanotte in the 10 was a little bit of a surprise. I think it was one that people weren't expecting, but I actually felt he did okay. He did okay. You know, he only played 45 minutes. Yeah, a few nice touches on the ball. Looks technically solid. Looks sound on the ball. One opportunity at the end of the first half where he should have shot. But other than that, like, it wasn't amazing, but it was, you know, that you could see there's a bit of something to work with. But Maresca can only work with what he has. You know, you can't criticize the players' performances and then blame Maresca for those performances. Ultimately, I think what we're seeing here, and we're 4 games in, so things can obviously get better and should get better. But I think it's alarming that the depth is not good enough. And I said this in the summer, and I don't want to go back down this route again, but I will very briefly. He asked for a centre-back. He didn't get one. We should have signed a centre-back. It was so obvious. He's got limited options at striker until November. Limited depth at striker. Should have signed a striker. I don't care. He should have gone and signed a striker. Talk about 3 strikers all the time. We're now doing up again, 2nd game in a row. Tyreek George at number 9. Mark Guiu, who I'm not a massive fan of, but what's going on there? Why was he left out of the squad entirely when he's an actual number 9 and you're going Tyreek George as a 9, which is woeful. The guy that was literally about to go to Fulham, all was agreed, didn't want to be here, and now he's getting minutes. That didn't make sense for me. The expensive signings that we made in Jarell Hato and Jamie Gittins, particularly Gittins, they don't look up to the level right now. I don't think there was an issue with our setup in this game. The setup was fine. I think the setup in general is fine. Unfortunately, the quality on the pitch. And as I said, you've got to be fair. I've defended Maresca in terms of the quality and the depth, but the decision not to include Guiu in the squad was mental, you know. And he said afterwards, he just wanted to give George some confidence. It wasn't injury, it wasn't illness. But in a presser, he said that Guiu was our only striker. So it literally doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Now, of course, good news that we didn't lose. I get that. It feels like a loss. But this game really, really felt like Brentford last season, the 0-0 last season, in terms of a lot of rotation. We didn't go for it in the first. The first half was woeful. We are so slow on the ball, slow moving the ball, not just looking out of ideas, not doing anything whatsoever. The mass rotation obviously has some sort of an impact on that. No surprises. You make the changes at half time. You bring on Reece James, you bring on Cucurella, you bring on, Tyreek George came on, Cole Palmer came on. You know, you make these changes and you're suddenly better. You suddenly play better. We pressed higher up the pitch. We had more intensity in the game. We moved the ball quicker. And we got the rewards for that. We went for it in the second half. It was too little, too late. Similar mistakes have been made. Poor squad depth. I don't know what we can do with the current options available other than hope that these guys get up to speed sharpish. We're not going to see anyone saying, oh, yeah, just play your best team, play your best team. I'm telling you now, we are not going to see the best 11 play 2 games in a row. We're not going to see that. We're not seeing it. So this is what we're dealing with right now. This is what we are dealing with. You know, rotation and fatigue. You've got to manage it. You've got to manage it. And this, look, it's not a terrible result. In the circumstances, it feels like a terrible result. I would have taken the point at halftime. Dare I say it, I probably would have taken the point before the game kicked off. Tricky place to go. Poor record there. International break, injuries, players arriving back late. I would have taken that. But I think we have to look at it. Our quality and depth is nowhere near Liverpool's, City's, or Arsenal's. It's not. The centre-back depth is woeful. The only position where we've got genuine depth is midfield. And I said it in the summer. Centre-back, another forward, striker. We didn't get either of them. And now look where we're at. One injury has finished us. The defending itself, I felt, was poor. Tossing, I'm sorry, Unk, what are you doing? Yeah, made some nice blocks here and there and whatnot. The defending for that goal is abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. Yes, okay, Trevor Chalobah, gets caught high up the pitch. I get that. Jordan Henderson throwing it back. Yeah, quarterback pass, one ball over the top. And, you know, yes, they're in. However, for the second game in a row, Tossing's 1v1 defending, embarrassing. Tossing has to be tighter. He just stands off the man, lets him cut inside and score. Fofana as well. Looked like he couldn't run. Maybe it's just a match sharpness thing. Maybe it's just a fitness thing. I don't know. But Tossing it's poor. It's poor. You know, you've got to be defending better than that. You have to be. It's twice in 2 games now Tossing's been caught out. I don't care if you've got line-breaking passes. If your 1v1 defending's like that, it's simply not good enough. It is not good enough. And it's just poor. And you look at it and you just think Fofana's rusty. Tosin and Chalobah is not a partnership that's going to win you the league. Jamie Gittins, what is going on with him? He looks so lost. We spent big money on Gittins as well. Looks nowhere near it. Looks absolutely nowhere near it. I'm not saying that he's not a good player and he's not going to become a good player. It takes some players longer than others to adapt and settle in. I get it. But Jesus Christ, the guy looks so lost. Doesn't look like he knows what he's doing. Almost looks like he's won a competition to play for Chelsea. It's really worrying. Just show me something. I'm not expecting miracles, but I'm not seeing anything from Gittins that's saying to me that, yeah, this guy's got something about him. Yeah, this guy, he's ready. He's nowhere near ready. Garnacho did more in that cameo than Gittins has done all season. Garnacho, from an attacking perspective, was actually exciting when he came on. Picked up the ball, running at players, direct. Yes, obviously, the defending for the goal is poorly, losing his man. But I'd argue what's more poor is that 4 players marking 1 Brentford man and they all lose the ball. That's poor as well. But yeah, Garnacho was promising. Gittins, I'm concerned. Show me something to back. I can't see anything to back here. And that's the main issue for him. Obviously, the Moises Caicedo goal was superb. Cole Palmer, making an impact when he comes on. Difference makers coming onto the pitch, making a difference. There's no surprises there. And Caicedo deserved to win that game. Football, there's no other sport like it. Pure elation with 5-6 minutes to go to utter deflation right at the end. But again, I think another learning curve for this team. When you go in the lead with 5-6 minutes to go, you've got to see the game out. You've got to slow it down. You've got to disrupt it. You've got to make things difficult. And we didn't do that. We simply didn't do that. Look, it's 8 points from 12. It's 2 wins, 2 draws. It's not terrible. But when you go to Old Trafford next weekend, where our record is abysmal there, that suddenly becomes a game where you need to pick up 3 points. And that's a big ask as well. So, yeah, disappointing, deflated. Yes, we got a point, but there's a few things that need to be ironed out. And there's a few worrying signs. I have to be honest, there are a few worrying signs. But Robert Sanchez was good, fair play to him. Just thought I'd quickly get some praise into him at the end. We could have lost without him, made some really important saves. Said Caicedo, brilliant. James, brilliant. For Enzo Fernandez was much better in the second half. Pedro Neto, very good as well. Yeah, it's going to be some season, so strap in for the ride. But that's my thoughts on the game, guys. Make sure you smash up the like, subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll catch you lot again in another one soon. Up the Chelsea, and we're out. Peace.